Hi, I'm Josh Campbell with OSU Extension, and I'd like to give you a few tips regarding planting trees and shrubs in your landscape. The late summer and early fall months are a great time to establish trees and shrubs in our landscape. We often forget about the fall as being a good time to plant trees and shrubs because we most often think about planting and planting our landscapes in the spring. However, the fall is a great time to establish containerized trees, shrubs, and other plants within our landscape. One quick tip is if you are wanting to pick a tree that's going to give you some fall color, rather than purchasing that tree in the spring, if you purchase it in the fall, you have the best chance of kind of getting an idea of what that fall color is going to look like when you go to purchase that tree in the fall. All right, so one of the most important things to consider before planting any tree or shrub is just taking care of it in the intermediate time between when you buy it and when you plant it. And so making sure that you keep the root ball moist before you plant is really important. So a good planting hole is going to be twice the diameter of this root ball. And you want to plant the plant right at or just a hair above the soil line. So where this soil line, you might want it to sit just a hair above that. The reason you might want to have it a hair above the soil line would be in the case of really heavy clay soils. You don't get as good drainage in those situations, and so you want to aid drainage. And so planting just a hair above the soil line will help improve drainage as you get this plant established. So we'll go ahead and set this in the ground. It's always good to inspect the roots. A lot of times if they've been in a container for a really long time, they can become what we call root bound or pot bound. The roots start to kind of really circle all around the root ball. And it's good just to kind of tease them up a little bit. That will help everywhere that we kind of break the roots a little bit. It'll encourage new growth. One other important factor that you should plan for when putting a new tree in the ground is that rather than spending money on really rich soil to backfill, it's going to be better just to use what we call the native soil, the soil that came out of the hole that you dug. That's going to allow the tree to immediately start to root down and establish in the soil that it's going to make home for the rest of its life. And so you'll aid the plant, you'll make a healthier, better established plant long term just by using the native soil that you have on site. All right, now we've got our tree planted and we've started to apply some mulch around the base of this tree. It's always a good idea, if you're able, to put a good 3 to 4 inches of mulch around any newly planted tree or shrub in your landscape. The reason for that is it's going to help retain moisture, which is critical for a new plant. That first period of establishment, really the first year, is important. And so watering regularly, applying a good layer of mulch around the tree will help give you a leg up when it comes to keeping moisture around this root ball. One thing you want to consider when it comes to mulch, though, is you don't want to pile the mulch up against the tree like this. You really want to make sure that coming off of the base of this plant that you keep the mulch away. That will prevent any rotting and decay from happening right here at the base of the tree. I encourage you to check out some of the resources that we have regarding planting trees and shrubs in your landscape.